We have no any issue of vandalizing government property or any personal issue. We are only to see our voice. Let the world knows and let our leaders acknowledge that Nigerian youth are not locally ignorant of what is happening in their country.
Well, those are images circulating on the social media. Abdulaziz posted it. It happened this morning at about 7 a.m. in Goronyo local government area in Sokoto State. They say that they are protesting concerning the current situation in the country. But we also do understand that some of them are also asking questions of the state governments. They are saying that they've not provided enough palliatives or enough resources in the state to ensure that some economic concerns there are addressed. And so they're asking questions, not just at the federal level, but at the state government level as well today. And
that's a conversation that we've been trying to have, really, about how people need to move away from looking at the federal government all the time and sometimes look at your direct governance structure and see what they're doing. And if they're not doing anything about your situation, you should be able to call them out. It is their right to do so, and they're exercising that right now.
So we're keeping tabs all over the place to just bring you whatever information we have about what is happening. So moving on, this morning we've got two gentlemen joining us to talk about what may or may not happen tomorrow. We've got Mr. Adebayo Ojo, who is a senior advocate of Nigeria, former Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice for Oyo State. Good morning. Thank you for coming on today.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
And we also have Dr. Sulaiman, who is of the Ahmadu Bello University. He's also a lecturer, but he will be joining us much later. I will talk to you when he does. Mr. Ojo, thank you again for coming on, dragging you out this morning.
Always a pleasure to be here.
So it is an interesting scenario we've got on our hands, different perspectives as to what should be tomorrow. We know that the IGP has tried to engage severally. We know that some of your colleagues as well, SANs, also appear to be playing key roles in terms of what should happen tomorrow. But let's hear from you about what you think of this protest to be or not.
Thank you. Let me first say that protest is part of inalienable right of any citizen. It is legitimate right. Our court has ruled on that. Even the Supreme Court. You have the right to associate, the right to, is a form of freedom of expression. But this planned protest, to me, is an ambush. It's a landmine for the government.
Ambush?
Ambush.
What do you mean?
A landmine. It's a plot. You get my point? And it is a stepping stone to a bigger plot, which the government will snip in the bud. Because the organizers are not sincere. Let me say this. If I concede and agree that times are hard in this country, all of us are living through a least period, except for those who are stealing and preferring money for the government or from anywhere. But people that are working hard and having honest living, things are hard. Some are not even working to live. They are living to work. It is that bad. And government must do something about it. But for the organizers, the so-called organizers of the tomorrow protesters, they are idle, they lack focus, they are, and I believe they are being politically motivated or instigated. So let me say this. You see, we all went to university or higher institutions. Yeah. You don't plan protest and fix a day for it. It's not rally. Okay, you plan rally.
People there were disagreements on that.
I'm coming.
But could you talk to us?
Instantaneous.
So we don't want to lose this train of thought. Yes. When you say this is what are you ambush, and that it's a plan for something to come. What do you mean by that?
You see, just a bad loser. We don't cultivate or imbibe spirit of good sportsmanship. Look, politics campaign are over. Winner has been declared. He has been sworn in. You ventilated your grievances in various courts, up to the Appeals Court. And Supreme Court has confirmed that will be the end. Up to today. And I start to be contradicted. Both the PDP president candidate and that of Labour Party, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, Abisa Tobi, up to today, they've not congratulated the president.
So wait,
and that's anti-democratic and non-civilized.
Well, they say it depends on how you...
It does not depend. Look at UK.
No, but
look at it.
They're going to tell you.
If Trump moves tomorrow,
I know
they will call and congratulate him.
But that's not true.
They should be like President Donald
Trump didn't congratulate Joe Biden.
Because Trump is maybe his parent migrated from here.
But wait, who is ambushing who? Who is ambushing who?
Those people, those
ambushing who?
They are ambushing the government. What they fail to get at the poll, they're daydreaming. They believe they can get it through.
That's what you
Some
mean
of them are saying,
by...
for example, revolution now. Which revolution? Tell me.
But Mr. Joe,
yes.
Much as you say, when you said it was an ambush,
it's landmine.
It's a plot of
they wanted to lay landmine for the government.
Something to come. People listen to you will think, wait a minute, is there more to this that meets the eye? But you just say now, when you now take it to persons who had contested and lost. Is that what you mean by it's an ambush?
No, I said what they failed to get at the poll and through the court. You know, when they lost at the poll, they placed all their hopes on the court. And they came with some cases that are so bad, and the court threw it away.
Lawyers,
they've seen another...
You always talk about evidence.
Yes.
Hard facts.
Hard facts.
When you say, oh, these are persons who lost elections.
Yes.
What is your hard fact to say? Those persons you see on the streets there,
yes,
Mr. Adegboro and Mr. Falana, all of those persons, are they part of this ambush?
That's one part. You see, politicians use Nigerian human rights or social rights activists. Not all of them are sincere. In fact, I can say it authoritatively. I penned an article this morning, which has circulated far and wide. 99% of them are fake. The like of Madifawemi, Bamidele Aturu, Femi Falana, the like Chima Obani of blessed memory, the likes of them are very few. So others are impostors and pretenders.
Is Mr. Falana and Mr. Adegboro are defending fake people?
They are defending people who are pretenders, fake people. That's why I said the so-called the imminent protest. I said it's a ruse. It's a small screen.
I need to understand.
To cover, they are trying to
I need to understand
that.
Just help me understand what you mean. When you say ambush, ruse, what's the plot? What's the plan?
The plot, the plan is to destabilize the government. They've not given up since they lost in court. You know, initially, after the election, you know, they were even saying, no, the result must not be declared. They tried.
So do you have evidence?
Orubebe and what's the other guy?
How did you come to that conclusion?
What's the other man? The man from Kano, from Kogi. Yeah, you know Malawi style.
How did you come to that conclusion? Do you have any documentation?
When I talk from an informed opinion.
So let's hear the facts. What are the facts that have informed this?
That informed this. If you look at all those who have been supporting this, bring my point. You see the spring, Arab Spring, when it happened, it started in Egypt, and it spread like wildfire all over the Middle East.
And this
I'm coming.
This one.
That was a genuine, spontaneous and instantaneous. But when someone now say, we are planning, we meet somewhere, we did it. Protests are not done that way. I am an expert in public protest.
Because I know that you have protested before.
No, I've protested before. That was
so when you
the last time I stopped.
Let's talk about
during the Ebony or SAP riot.
It was the structural adjustment program
and
riot.
Ebony.
Okay, so you protested during those riots.
Those riots.
Tell us about them. What made you come out to protest?
I was a young student then. I was in Jambite in my first year at University of Lagos. And we were led by the nose by our SUG president then, Philip Madodutimi in Unilag. We were deceived. They said they've seen Ebony, Babangida, something in Paris. He owned this. That's what I too. And I believe with Tatulari. Because of him, I joined the fray. Believe me. Later, we got to know that there was something like that in Ebony. And when they asked for Tatulari, they said, Mr. Tatulari, this is the Ebony magazine of social date, which you have to say, oh yeah, so us, where was that article? But he couldn't see anything. My mentor,
didn't Mr. Philip plan it? But Mr. Philip planned it.
Mr.
Philip, he planned it.
He planned, yes, he led us by the nose because we were gullible.
But he planned.
And that's what these people are doing too. For those who are gullible. I'm not gullible, my eyes are open. I'm an adult now.
Okay.
I'm 55 years old.
Do you think that we need to end bad governance in Nigeria? Do you agree with that?
I agree. In the first place? I agree. I've always said it here. I do not how you can head it.
Okay. Look, so if you agree with that, hold on.
Yes.
If you agree that there is bad governance in the country,
yes,
don't you think that there will be people, genuine people, who want to speak up about this bad governance? Do you think that they should be allowed the space to ventilate?
I've written articles.
Do you think that people who believe that they are victims of bad governance should be given the space to ventilate?
Yes, very well. And let me tell you how to do it. Not by causing unrest or going on frivolous and senseless protests. Look, all of us are guilty. Julius Caesar, William Shakespeare and Julius Caesar said, the fault they have put us is not in our stars, but in ourselves, for where the underline is. Did you join politics? Did I join? People who are there are bad, majority of them are bad people who don't know their right from the left, their left and from the right. They are politicians. But all of us who are professionals should join politics so that we become professional in politics. After I give you an example, when I was commissioner, I was appointed by Senator Abiola Ajimobi. And when the election was coming, he said, I don't want any technocrat. Ojo, and all of you, Ojo Sack, who is now the chair of FRS. Nobody should call himself technocrat. I want to make politician of you. Go out to your ward, to your local government, go and join politics. And the day I went there, to my local government, they were happy to see me. They introduced the secretary to me. They said, this is the chairman, this is vice chairman, and they said, this is legal advisor. I look at him, I said, Brother Luku, they called this is legal advisor. I said, Brother Luku did not have school start. And they said, those who have we seen them? That's in about the southeast local government. Okay. A cosmopolitan local government.
So you say
politics.
You say that Mr. Falana and Adegboro, they are defending fake people.
I said they are impostors.
The people that are defending are impostors.
No, even most of them, they are not being sincere with this agenda of theirs. Okay. And they have other means, other motives, which they are. Look, I know a lot. So some of those behind it. Some of them struggle to become ministers under this man.
Do you think that
they didn't appoint them as ministers?
Do you think that Mr. Falana and Mr. Adegboro know their ultimate intent?
You see, when I mentioned sincere activists, I said Fawemi, Aturu, and Mr. Falana.
But he's allowed
I don't put those I did not add. Don't add them for me.
No, but he's defending the protesters now. He was in that meeting with the IG yesterday.
Let me tell you, Mr. Falana. If Mr. Falana becomes governor or president of this country today, and if he's driving in his convoy and he see people protesting, he will jump down and join them because it has become part of him. That is his life.
Okay.
He will tell us we have forgotten that he's the president.
Dr. Ahmad Sulaiman.
They don't love peace. They love. We are used to all those wars.
Well, Dr. Ahmad Sulaiman also.
He's a genuine activist.
Well, Dr. Sulaiman, tell us which one you are now. I mean, I'm looking to see Ahmadu Bello University legal practice. So please, good morning first of all, and thank you for joining us on the program from our studios in Kano. So what is your impression about how all of this is playing out? Because first of all, we understand, how are the streets of Kano? Are there policemen and security all over the place, as some say? We can't hear you at the moment. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Morning.
Now, it's not a laughing stock. We're at a serious cross point in Nigeria. We're at a serious crossroad. I'm surprised with what I'm hearing now. Whoever is in his sense and knows what is happening in Nigeria should fear for what will come. Three things are making me apprehensive of what is coming. First, the government itself seems it doesn't realize what is on ground. And the politicians that are supposed to advise the government properly are also, they seem either they know or they pretend not to know what is happening. But I want to ask you, Chamberlain, can we pretend to say there is no bad governance in Nigeria? Can we pretend to say there is no corruption in Nigeria? Can we pretend?
Dr. Sulaiman?
Yes?
I don't know if you heard part of what Mr. Ojo has said earlier. Part of what he also said, he said, look, we acknowledge there are tough times. People are living to work, right? And some are working to live. And he's here. I do understand that there's a bad scenario, he said. But he also did say there are elements of those who had lost elections who are leveraging. In fact, I think he said there are those behind some of this protest to hijack certain things and cause disaffection, taking advantage of the situation that we are in economically. Can we deny that?
He will wake up from that slumber. He will wake up from that slumber. I was also sleeping like that. during the NSAS riot. You remember, Chamberlain, there was a program. I argued with you in that conspiracy theory. But I've woken up from that slumber. The reality of situation in Nigeria is that things are so tense that government have to change its tactics. Do you remember about a month ago or 2 months ago in this studio, I advised that things are becoming so tense and government should urgently do something. Otherwise, the combustion will burst out. Have you now seen it bursting out? What I'm afraid, Chamberlain, put what I'm saying on the record. Government is missing the situation. And these people are missing the situation. All these conspiracy theories will not save us. Let us look at the situation on ground. I want you to look at how government is responding. Do you respond to such a situation by conspiracy theories? No. You look at the issues on ground. Do you respond to this by normal things? We heard on the radio, over the radio, that government is sending some relief to some governors to share. If things sent through governors or bureaucrats have been reaching the poor people who wouldn't have reached this stage, why do you keep on doing one thing for many years, for years, for decades, without result?
Okay. Parliament to jump in. It just needs to go back and forth so we can get the most out of everybody. Mr. Joe, you heard him say government is missing the point. And perhaps that suggests that you may also be missing the points if you don't.
No, I started. I said, one must face facts. Things are hard now. Nigeria are living through the hell. It is hellish. Except those who are not earning honest income. Those who are not living by their sweat. You get my point? And they're not in government alone. They're everywhere. People are used to cut corner. If I know his background, I can explain him for you. I don't know his background, don't know what he does. What he does.
The lecturer at Ahmadu University.
Even in university, it's true. In every tower, things are bad. They cut corners. Sexual harassment, they extort sex for marks, money for marks. You get my point? The vice chancellor, they receive allocation, they loot it just like government loots it.
Yeah, so
what are you talking about? So that's why I said this Nigeria. It's not government alone, no. And like I just said, if you point, remove the.
So are you saying, although things are bad, people shouldn't protest?
No, I said, look, in advanced democracy, how do you end bad governance? You wait for 4 years, you vote them out. You vote them out. And again, this is democracy. What do? We have councillors that were elected across the country. They are chosen from among us, from our wards. We have state house of reps, state lawmakers. Yeah. We have house of reps. We have senators. Go and lobby them.
In advanced democracies,
people, yes.
They protest. There was a protest in Leeds a few days ago. There's protest in the United States. There's protest in France. There's protest around the world.
Those protests,
young people around the world.
They are not this type of orchestrated protest.
They are orchestrated protests.
They are doing rehearsal as if they want to act Nollywood. You know which way they've been doing rehearsal? All of them.
But
protests will be genuine, instantaneous, and real.
So does that then mean that the protest that former President Buhari participated in
with the current president,
yes, was it fake?
Why they're not real? They were consulted with a plot. With that, and you know what? You know that Buhari rode into power on the basis of that protest. That gave visibility because before that time, nobody would touch Buhari with a pole.
So now you're saying what goes around comes around.
Yes, I agree with you.
Ayo.
Just one or two things that I want to raise with, Mr. Ojo. The question is, Nigerians have been protesting for a long time. A good number, some people have even put that out in social media. Nigerians have been protesting. They protest when they go to the market and see that the tomato now costs a lot more than it was yesterday. Nigerians have been protesting about electricity rates even before this government came into power. Nigerians have been protesting about food, about shelter, about clothing, about everything. But it would seem like the only time any government, be it state or local or federal, pays attention is when a protest is called. Why should that be the case? So when Nigerians are calling and the government is not listening, why should the people listen to the government now?
Let me say this. It's unfortunate that we don't have data or valid statistics database in this country. You see, those behind this protest, let me say, they are very boisterous and noisy
Talk about
minority.
those issues that people have been complaining about. Just a second.
Who want to wag our dogs.
People have been complaining about for a long time, but government have not been listening. Now, government wants the people to listen. Why should the people listen when these issues have been raised by people for a long time and no one has listened to them?
Let me say this. I don't know why government is stopping them from embarking on protest. Let them protest.
Let's look away from the protest, Mr. Ojo. Let's look away from the protest. Just a second. Let's look away from the protest. You're not answering the question. Yes. There are issues on ground before people called for a protest, and government has not listened.
Yes.
Why have those issues not been addressed? Yes. And it's only now that people are calling for a protest that government officials are coming out and saying that they should not protest.
I'm equally surprised. Because, you see, the first protest which I witnessed in my life was the Ali Must Go protest. And I was in primary school at Wesley Practice School, Ibadan. And there's a teacher training college there. And that was the first time I saw tear gas in my life. So they've been protesting. People have been protesting. Government have not been listening. But look, we all blame government. We've not searched ourselves too. All of us in this country, we need attitudinal mindset change. Let's change ourselves.
It's interesting, Mr. Ojo, that you mentioned our attitudes and all of those things, and you also talked about Ali Must Go.
Yes.
Ali Must Go happened 46 years ago, and those people in government at the time are no longer in government now. And guess what? It was about high cost of living, and up until now we are still talking about the same thing. But let me ask Dr. Sulaiman, just a second. It was about high cost of living. You can do some background check. But let me talk to you, Dr. Sulaiman. So again, from time to time, whenever we raise these issues, we are talking about the federal government. I'm asking you as well, because we've had all shades of opinion about this. But we talk about the federal government all the time. And it will seem like we are cutting the state government some slack. In Sokoto State, the multidimensional poverty is highest of 36 states, according to the data that came out in 2022. Yet there hasn't been any protest as to why poverty was so high. Why now? That's for you, Dr. Sulaiman.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. I can hear you.
Yeah, thank you very much. This answered the question he raised before. The structures we have are not working. Why are they not working? Because of bad governance. Good governance ought to start from atop downward, but it's not working. And that is why we have
good governance really start from the top or from the bottom, Dr. Sulaiman? Should good governance start from the top or start from the local governments?
So that is why we said the structure needs to be changed. That is why we said we need to wait and say, how do we change the situation? And this is what these youths are calling for. And that is why I said the federal government is not reading the situation properly. These boys are tired of corruption. These boys are tired of money not reaching its end point. These boys are tired of the economic system without thinking being taken by federal government, without thinking of the hard effect of those policies. And these boys have come out to give an ultimatum. Instead of addressing this situation, government is now coming up with conspiracy theories. Government is now coming up with the politicians here calling everybody fake, and calling everybody names. That is not what the situation called for. The situation called for federal government to sit down and ask itself, what do I need to reverse?
Let's see what happens tomorrow, the first day of August. Okay.
No, because boys, it's a house built with spiritual.
What do you mean fail? They won't come out? Or...
No, it's a house built with spiritual. It will collapse and fall on their head.
Thank you for coming. Mr. Adebayo Ojo is the senior advocate of Nigeria. And Dr. Sulaiman also is a senior law person as well, as he also lectures in Ahmadu Bello. But thank you both of you for coming on this morning. Okay, we'll have some messages coming through. Let's see how much of it we can take. This comes from Pastor Bin Daniel. He says, A government that is performing well should not fear protest. In fact, responsible citizens will not protest against a good government and governance. How do you expect the few percentage of the politicians do not buy fuel with their money, who don't go to market, not to fight genuine protesters? Well, the truth of the matter is that government should be responsible for those who will hijack the protest.
All right, we have this one from Paul Agbolade. In my opinion, it's a positive move considering the fact that the applicable exchange rate will be fixed. Okay, I think he's talking about something we talked about yesterday. So let me see if I can move on to Imonoka Enakena. Protesters demanding better living wages, cutting multi-taxation and recurrent expenditure, diversity in the economy, cutting the interest rates and hyperinflation, availability of electricity and reduction in petroleum product price. And let's have workable refineries to banish fuel scarcity and irresponsible hoardings that lead to increase in petroleum prices.
Well, Festus Akinboyewa has this, says, unfortunately, protests have never achieved any growth for Nigeria. There is no doubt that the foundations of our economy have collapsed and need a leader who is willing to make bold and difficult decisions to fix it. Those who want to protest and want fuel subsidies and exchange subsidies to return should tell us how they will be paid for. Let those who want to protest do so, but it's time to face reality. So many other comments coming from this, but we gotta thank you so much for the privilege of being a part of your morning. I'm Ayo Makinde. To have a beautiful day ahead.
Well, before we go, Ayo and Chamberlain, it's important that we pay our respects to the elegant stallion who died in the early hours. At least we heard about her death in the early hours of this morning. The wonderful Onyeka Onwenu, who has passed at the age of 72. May her soul rest in peace. A national icon, one that we all loved, cherished, grew up on. Cannot forget how magical this woman was. And from all of us, we wish all of her family members the fortitude to bear this loss. And of course, to all the Nigerians who are mourning her death right now, know that we are with you in prayer.
Don't forget your name. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. I'm Chamberlain, so goodbye.